Have you ever felt anger like a volcano poised to erupt within you? I have. For many years, I lived like a prisoner chained by my own emotions, a rudderless boat mercilessly tossed by life's furious waves. But today, I want to tell you the story of my journey to find peace, not by extinguishing the fire, but by learning to see through the smoke. My name is Ethan, but for a long time, my life was the complete opposite of what that name might suggest. I was a young architect, ambitious and full of pride. I believed the world operated on clear rules, and success would come to those who worked the hardest, the smartest. But the world was not a perfect blueprint. Failed projects, broken promises, shattered relationships, all ignited the fury within me. I yelled at colleagues, argued with loved ones, and tormented myself in solitude. Each time, I felt a fleeting sense of satisfaction, but it was always followed by a lasting emptiness and regret. I tried to control it, to suppress it, but the harder I tried, the more fiercely it erupted, like a beast trapped in a cage. It was during those darkest days, when I had nearly lost everything, that I heard tales of an old master living in seclusion on a high mountain named Alistair. They said he didn't teach profound doctrines, but simply showed people how to live in peace with themselves. With a last flicker of hope, I decided to put everything aside and seek him out. The path up the mountain was steep and rocky, much like my state of mind at the time. When I reached the small wooden monastery, Master Alistair was sitting in quiet contemplation beneath an ancient pine tree, his eyes gentle yet as deep as an autumn lake. In my haste and frustration, I poured out a torrent of injustices and angers I had endured. I recounted, I complained, I almost screamed. Master Alistair listened in silence, without a single word of judgment. When I was exhausted and had nothing left to say, he slowly began to speak, his voice deep and resonant like a temple bell. "My child," he said, "the anger you describe, it is not fire, it is merely smoke." I was bewildered. Master Alistair smiled, pointing to the dying campfire. "Do you see the smoke rising? It stings the eyes, it causes discomfort, it obscures vision. You try to wave the smoke away, but a moment later, it gathers again. That's because you don't see the glowing embers smoldering beneath. That ember, that is your attachment and your expectations. Anger is merely a reflection of that attachment." That was my first lesson. In the days that followed, Master Alistair helped me look at my own embers. He asked me to write down every instance I felt angry. Looking back, I realized a frightening pattern. Every outburst of anger began with an unmet expectation. I expected colleagues to be perfect. I expected my loved ones to understand. I expected life to be fair. These formed a chain of expectations, and when one link broke, the entire chain collapsed, dragging me into an explosion of rage. So what must I do? Sever all these relationships? I asked in despair. No, Master Alistair shook his head. You must learn to let go, not to cut off. Letting go doesn't mean you discard everything. Letting go means you still hold, but with an open hand. You still love, you still cooperate, but you no longer tie your happiness to the actions of others. You let go of the expectation that they must live the way you want. He taught me about the power of stillness. When someone throws mud at you, he said, if you stand still, the mud will fall at your feet. If you rush at them, both of you will get dirty. Stillness is the weapon of the wise. It is not resignation, but the space for wisdom to sprout. In the silence between provocation and your reaction, that is where your freedom exists. I began to practice. Whenever I felt anger beginning to ignite, instead of letting it erupt, I chose presence over provocation. I took a deep breath, focused on the feeling of air filling my chest, and simply observed. I observed the burning sensation in my chest, my rapidly beating heart, the judgmental thoughts screaming in my head. I neither suppressed them nor acted on them. I simply observed, like someone standing on the bank, watching a swift river flow by. Master Alistair called this the art of emotional alchemy. You cannot destroy energy, he explained, but you can transform it. Anger is an incredibly powerful source of energy. Instead of using it to destroy, learn to turn the fire of reaction into compassion. Ask yourself, why do I feel so hurt? What fear is hidden beneath this anger? What is the other person going through that makes them act this way? When you ask questions with curiosity instead of judgment, you are turning lead into gold. You are transforming anger into understanding. It was not an easy process. There were times I still failed, still let the smoke of anger cloud my reason. But gradually, I felt the change. I learned that non-reaction is a strength as gentle as air. Air does not resist anything, yet it is everywhere, and nothing can imprison it. When someone spoke harsh words, I learned to let those words pass through me, without clinging, without leaving a trace. After several months, I decided to return to the city. That was the biggest test. Life was still the same. There were still people who disappointed me, situations that didn't go as planned. A longtime business partner deceived me, seizing a project I had poured my heart into. My old self would have sought every means to retaliate, to destroy him. But this time, I was different. I felt the wave of anger rise, but I was not submerged by it. I sat quietly in my office, breathing and observing. I saw the disappointment, the hurt, and even the fear for the future. I allowed myself to feel all of it. Then, I used the energy of that anger to think clearly. I took the necessary legal steps to protect myself, not with hatred, but with a cool head. I met that partner again. Instead of shouting, I simply said calmly, "I forgive you, not because you deserve it, but because I deserve peace. But I will never forget this lesson. Forgive, but don't forget the lesson." That was how I protected my peace without becoming naive. Months turned into years, and I realized a profound truth. Your peace is your responsibility. It doesn't depend on whether others treat you well, or whether life unfolds according to your plans. It is an internal state, a garden you must cultivate and protect yourself. Now, I am still an architect, still facing life's pressures and challenges. But I am no longer a slave to my emotions. I have learned to become invulnerable. It's not that I built a brick wall so no one can touch me. Rather, I have become like space itself. People can throw anything into space, but space remains unharmed, untainted. Anger can still come, like a dark cloud passing across the sky. But I know that I am not the cloud. I am the sky. The sky is vast, boundless, and always peaceful behind the clouds. My journey was not a miracle, but a persistent practice. It began with recognizing that anger is merely smoke. And when you have the courage to see through that smoke, you will find the fire of attachment. Learn to loosen the hand-gripping expectations, use stillness as a shield, and transform the energy of anger into compassion. Because ultimately, the greatest freedom is not changing the external world, but mastering the internal one. And true peace is the most precious gift you can give yourself.